What's up, Digital Business Evolution? Welcome back to the show. Today we have a super short and powerful, quick little episode that's going to blow your mind. So today we're chatting all about why you need to have a big following in order to make a big impact and a big income. Wait, hold on. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the whole purpose of this episode. You do not need a big following to make a big impact or a big income. In fact, over the last 11 years that I've been doing this stuff online, digital education, courses, coaching, and using social media as organic marketing, I have never had a big following. And I know big is relative, but the biggest following that I ever had was about 25,000 followers, and that was on my old Instagram account that I shut down last year. That account took me, 8 years to build, and I had gone through so many different evolutions. Notice I didn't say pivots. I've gone through so many different evolutions over the years of my business that a lot of the people who were there in my audience following really didn't care about what I was doing anymore at the current day. So that was one of the many reasons that I switched accounts and started brand new, back in the weeds to grow my account from zero again. But here's the thing. I've been able to grow and scale a multiple seven-figure company over the last 5 years with a small following. In fact, with a small email list as well. And only up until last year, we were doing everything solely organically. So we had not played around with anything like paid ads until about a year ago. So we had reached multiple millions before we decided to play with ads, which if you're interested in using ads, that's really a discussion for another day. But my opinion, my belief is that you really shouldn't put money into ad spend until you have proof of demand, a concept that people want, you have clout, you've got credibility, authority, your product and program is already built, it has legs to stand on, and there are people asking you for your product or program. Additionally, I would wait until you have great testimonials and results, case studies that you can plug back into the marketing. So I digress. You can absolutely be building your business from zero, from just a small following. So I want to break down a couple of the things that I have seen happen over the years. Now, I've been able to build my business, like I said, but more importantly and more impressive, I don't know if that's impressively, right? But what is more impressive is my clients and what they've been able to do. So just a couple weeks ago, one of my clients had 327 followers on Instagram. Yeah, 327 followers on Instagram. He launched a program that we had been working on together in our signature program, Empower, and he enrolled a handful of people where he was able to make thousands and thousands of dollars. He made more than his investment in Empower with just 327 followers. And I have so many case studies like this. In fact, our most successful, and I say that in quotes, financially successful and lucrative launch out of all of our clients was a gentleman who had 236 followers, and he actually had a six-figure launch. He brought in over $100,000 in a week's time with his launch with 236 followers. Now, is this normal? No. Is it promised? Absolutely not. But what I've seen more often than not is actually people come to me who have lots of followers, like mega influencers. I'm talking 500,000, 1 million followers, 250,000 followers, and they can't actually monetize. They've been struggling to sell products and programs. They don't know how to, or they've put things out like products they want to sell or programs they want to sell, and it falls flat. So what gives? They've got this massive following and they're not able to monetize. And what I want you to take away from this episode is that followers do not equal revenue. Followers do not equal revenue. I can't say that enough. So here's the thing. I use this analogy all the time. A lot of us think that we need more followers, and we're so worried about getting more leads and bigger audience in front of new people, and we need more, whether that's finish the sentence before I actually sell something or before I'll be able to hit the numbers that I want to hit with my goal, whatever that might be for you. If you invited, let's say 20 people over to a barbecue at your house, and there was that, nosy little neighbor on your street who ends up telling everybody in the entire town about this barbecue that you're having. You go to Costco, you get set, you've got tables and chairs and all the snacks and food, and you are set for 20 people to come to this barbecue. And the next thing you know, 200 people show up at your house. Are you actually ready to hold the capacity of 200 people? Like, do you have enough space? Do you have enough seats? Do you even know all of these people? Do you know why they're there? Do you trust these people? Are they now trampling through your house and, going into your bedrooms and touching your things? And do you have enough food for these people? Like, all of this happens when we are sitting in this thought that we just need more. I deeply believe that the universe will give you what you can handle. And so even when you do go into a launch, and sometimes we have clients that quote unquote only get 3 people to enroll in their program, which is incredible, by the way, it's like, well, maybe you're not actually set up to hold more than 3 people. And what you don't know yet, you don't know yet. So what you might not be able to see is that something down the pipeline is going to happen in your life or with your social media or your account or whatever that might be, that you actually wouldn't be able to hold more than 3 people. Or maybe you don't actually have systems and structure set up on the back end of your business yet to effortlessly hold these people, meaning maybe you don't have a great onboarding process, or you're scrambling and doing everything manually, like sending emails to make sure people have call links and stuff. So until your business is in a place where you have systems and structure and processes and automations, maybe you can't actually hold more people, and it would be harder for you to navigate more rather than where you're currently at. So when it comes to social media, we don't need more followers. We don't need a big following, and followers does not equal revenue. So what does equal revenue? Well, there's a lot of things that go into this, and really what I want you to focus on is how can you, number one, better serve the audience that you already have? Like, who is in front of you? Do you have quote unquote low-hanging fruit? Are there people who already want what you have? Are there people who are following you for a particular reason, and they're just waiting for you to put something out? So rather than focusing on going wide and getting more, can you focus on going deep and really build those relationships? Really start to hone in on the market research, the relationships, the feedback, getting people that are in your current audience, if it's the right audience, if you haven't gone through some major pivots and evolutions, right? Can you put them into a product or program? Can you enroll those people first? Can you have deep conversations where you're actually talking to them about what are they currently going through? What have they tried in the past? Where do they want to go? What are they looking for? What would they expect in something to go from A to Z? So rather than focusing on going wide, I'd rather you focus on going deep. And this is exactly how we have had so many clients with relatively small followings. I'd say anything even under 1,000 followers, having 6-figure, 5-figure, multiple 5-figure launches with tiny followings, because the right people are following them. The people who are following them for the right reason. Now, the second thing I want you to focus on is how can you get more intentional with your content? So if you know exactly who you're talking about, it's super niche and super clear, then can you create content for that specific person? And when you really stick a flag in the sand and say, this is what I do and this is who I help, not I help everybody, which I know you do, I do too, but really you want to get super clear on who you help. When you can, the people that want that will magnetically find you. They will be attracted to you. They will see the snowball happening where maybe other people are sharing your content, or it gets put in front of them with the algorithm as something they might be interested in, or on the explore page. And so a snowball happens, right, where we pack a little snowball in our hands and then we roll it in the snow. And every time as we're rolling it in the snow, it gets stuck to the outside and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So the more intentional and the more niche that you'll get, eventually you'll earn your right to go wide. And when I say earn your right, I don't mean earn as in your worth. You are already worthy and deserving, but you'll earn your right to go wide. So another example I use all the time with something like this is Starbucks. When you think of Starbucks, what do you think of? Very good, you said coffee. Yeah, but true or true? They sell cake pops and snacks and tea, and they sell little boxes like bento boxes and chips and waters, and they sell all different things, not just coffee. But when I asked you what you think of, you said coffee. Because Starbucks initially came out of the gate many years ago selling coffee, and they're known as a coffee shop. They've earned their right to go wide. Let's play again. Okay, Nike, what do you think of? Very good, you said sneakers. Right, but Nike also sells clothing and lots of it. They sell sports accessories. They probably sell dog accessories at this point. I'm sure they have soccer balls and frisbees. They sell physical sporting good items, and they also sell tennis rackets as well as baseball hats. They sell lots of things, but when you think of Nike, initially you think of sneakers because that's where they started. They've earned their right to go wide. And I can keep going with examples, but you get the point. So with your content, with your audience, albeit big or small, you want to focus and get really clear on really one person, one problem, one solution, and one product. You know, a lot of the greats in the industry, the coaching industry, the entrepreneurial industry, brick and mortar, digital, doesn't matter. They say the same thing. They say if you want to scale to $1 million business, sell one product to one person that solves one problem on one platform. And that's it. And when I look back at my business, which it's only become more complex and it's only gotten more complicated, and like they say, new levels, new devils, that truly has happened. But when I look back, especially for the first $1 million that I made in revenue, I was selling one product with one promise to one person at one time on one platform. And so let me break that down. It was Empower, which is our signature 12-week program. And when I started Empower, all the way up to my first million, I only sold it to fitness professionals. So I was working with fitness professionals to help them build their online business so they could stop trading time for money, and so that they didn't have to be in the gym all hours of the day with client sessions back to back doing all these one-on-ones. And I sold it on Instagram. It was one product with one solution for one problem to one person on one platform. And I did that for a really long time, and it was only after a while that we started to kind of broaden who we were helping. And we even started implementing other little things in the program, like maybe bringing in the lawyer and the accountant and making sure that we had other elements of really now it's business in a box. But ultimately, we're still solving one problem. We're helping you create a group coaching program. So whether or not you've tried launching before, you have a ton on one-on-ones and you're at capacity and you're either burning out or you just literally don't have any more time in your day for one-on-one clients, but you want to make more money and you want to make more impact, then we teach you group coaching, right? Along with a million other things. And if you're listening and you've gone through Empower, you could testify that we teach you a lot of things. And now we help a lot of people. It's not just fitness professionals. We've got dog trainers and dog groomers and accountants and lawyers and teachers and somatic breath work and relationship coaches and gut health and you name it. But we've earned our right to go wide. So when you're creating content with a big or small following, it's like a game of how clear can you get, how pinpoint, how zoned in, how simple can you make it? Simple scales and fancy fails. So be Nike, be Starbucks, be one of the companies who's selling one thing to one person and say it over and over and over again. And I've fallen into the trap so many times of feeling bored with my content or feeling bad, right? Where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this again. This is so boring. I say this all the time. I'm bored. If I'm bored, they must be bored. But then every once in a while, the universe will remind me, I'll get a little tap on the shoulder, and the universe will say, someone will slide into my DMs and say something like, oh my gosh, is this the first time you're ever launching this product? And I'm like, what? This is the 18th time I'm launching this product over the course of 5 years. Like, where have you been? But what that is it's a reminder that most people aren't seeing our content and most people aren't keeping tabs on our content. They're not paying attention the way that you're paying attention. So it is our job to remind them over and over and over. An analogy here or a reminder here is sort of how commercials work. Now, we haven't had cable for about a decade, but I know how commercials work. I remember. And every commercial break when you're watching a show or a sports game, it's like the same commercials come up every single time there's a commercial break. And they're paying big bucks to get those commercials during those commercial breaks. But the reason that they're doing it over and over and over is because they want to be front of mind when you're thinking of that pain or that pleasure, right? The problem, the challenge that you're having, and the solution or the desired outcome that you want, they want to be in front of your mind. They want to be there all the time. And it takes us a good 7 to 20 times to hear or see something before it really anchors in. And the more pain that we're in, the quicker that will happen for us. If you're searching for something because you're in so much pain, and by the way, most humans are moving, as in taking action, 80% of the time because of pain and only about 20% of the time because of pleasure or a desired outcome. So I also know people don't love to talk about pain points. We don't want to harp on the challenges and like point it out and rub salt on the wound, but it's not about that. It's about offering your solution. So a couple other things that I want to say is, I'm just checking my notes because I don't want to forget anything actually. Serve those that you have. Are you actually ready to hold more people? Have you sort of squeezed the juice? I don't want to say tapped out of all of your warm leads, but have you? Like, have you had the conversations? Has everybody in your current audience bought from you? Because if they haven't, they either aren't the right person for you, or maybe you haven't done a great job offering something for them yet. Get really intentional with your content, earn your right to go wide. Don't be afraid or feel bad for saying something over and over and over and over and over. I think of the Super Bowl specifically. It's like every commercial break during the Super Bowl is exactly the same. It's the Budweiser commercial, the Charmin commercial with the little teddy bears, right? Like we all know these things because we see them so often. And then the last thing that I would say is don't make it about you. So when you make your content about you, you might get bored, you might feel bad, you might feel salesy, you might feel sleazy. But when you remember that you have a solution to a problem and it's actually your responsibility to share that with the world. Your content is not for you, it's not about you, it's for them. It's about them, your ideal client. And so how can you show up with excitement, saying the same thing over and over, and get behind this? I've had to do this before. Sometimes I can't get behind some of the things that I'm teaching because I'm bored of it. I've said it for so long, for so many years. But when I remember that it's not about me and it's about them, and I can give myself a reframe of, it's not that this is like mind-blowing content or the first time that someone's gonna hear it, but can I get behind someone reading it, seeing it, or hearing it, and finally having that light bulb moment, having that aha moment, finally seeing it, finally hearing it. You know, they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. There are so many things that you've heard before or read before or someone has told you, and yet one time for some reason it just hits you differently. So can you get behind that in your content? That maybe one person on the other side of the screen as they're scrolling, it's actually gonna hit them when they're ready to hear it. So do you need a big following? Absolutely not. Do you need to know exactly who you're talking to and the problems that you solve? Yes. What I would say is if you have been working on your content and you're not seeing the needle move, practice your messaging. Work on your messaging. Most often, especially when you're selling and promoting something, if people aren't buying into it, even if it's a free opt-in, it's probably not the product or the program that's the problem. It's probably a messaging disconnect. They might not see the value in what it is that you have to offer. And that could even be a free thing. They might not see the value in the free thing that you're offering. So ask yourself, are you using their language and their verbiage? Are you talking in a second or third grade reading level? Are you getting super clear, or is it really broad and fluffy, like build a business that you love, live your best life, feel confident in your body, right? Like that's very fluffy and broad. How clear can you get it? Can you use their language? Test your messaging over and over and over and check your data and your analytics and look to see like what is sticking, what are people saving, sharing, liking, commenting, and look for themes and patterns. That's your job as a business owner and a content creator. So it's not just, oh cool, this one got shared a bunch of times. It's cool, this one got shared a bunch of times. Let me take out my magnifying glass and my microscope and let me see why. What was I talking about here? What was the angle I came from? What time did I post it? What day did I post it? Was it super polarizing? Was it relevant to something that was trending, like the Grammy Awards or something like that? Take a look and get really curious. And just remember, I can't say it enough, a big following does not mean a big income or a big impact. So disassociate yourself, detach from the numbers of followers, and really focus on what you're serving. Don't worry about getting people, just give value. Don't worry about selling to people, just serve. Don't worry about being popular on social media, just stand behind your purpose. Stick a flag in the ground and move forward. All right, cool. That's it. That's all I'm telling you today. A couple mindset shifts around content. You don't need a big following. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of case studies and testimonials that I can share with you. I promise you, I can back you up on this. I've seen it so many times myself, and then with all of our clients that we work with, the majority of them don't have a big following. So stop letting follower count be the thing that's holding you back for helping other people in the world. You've got a solution and people need it and people want it. So remove yourself and your ego and get to work. All right, I love you. If you love this episode, take a screenshot, share it on social media. It would mean the world to me if you left a review, a 5-star rating, and if you tagged me, I am Jessica DeRose. That way we can get it in front of more people. And as always, friends, cheers to your evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.